Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Chem Origin. This is Dr. Satish, RGUKT Srikakulam. Students, in our thermodynamics video modules, in module 1, we discussed about the introduction of thermodynamics. There we can discuss terms used in thermodynamics, that is system, surroundings, boundary, open system, closed system, isolated system. So in this manner, the popularly used terms in thermodynamics we can see, and in the second module we discussed about the work and work, heat, units of work and heat, what is internal energy, and with the help of first law of thermodynamics, how we calculate the change in internal energy, delta E, and next, and also we can calculate the change in enthalpy, enthalpy and change in enthalpy, H, delta H. That is in second module. In third module video, we can solve some numerical problems based on first law of thermodynamics. And there also, I can give you 4 or 5 problems for practice based on the first law of thermodynamics. I hope students, you all are solved that problems. In the present module, I discussed about bomb calorimeter and enthalpy of bond dissociation and enthalpy of bond formation. Measurement of delta E and delta H of chemical reactions. So delta E, change in internal energy, delta H, change in enthalpy. For a chemical reaction, what is the change in internal energy and what is the change in enthalpy we can calculate using a experimental methods, that those are known as a calorimetry. So with the help of calorimetry we can measure exactly the change in internal energy. Similarly, as well as we can calculate the change in enthalpy. So with these experimental techniques we can calculate the change in internal energy and change in enthalpy. So those methods are known as a calorimetry. Generally these calorimetrics are two types. For combustion reactions, one is for combustion reactions, and second one is for neutralization reactions, means neutralization reactions means reaction between an acid and base. Reaction between an acid and base is a neutralization reaction. Therefore, for combustion reactions and for neutralization reactions, we can, with the help of calorimetry, we can calculate the change in internal energy, delta E, and change in enthalpy, delta H, we can be carried. So you can see, for combustion reactions, the popularly used experimental technique is, for combustion reactions, the popularly used method is bomb calorimeter is used for combustion reactions. Bomb calorimeter method is used for detection of delta E and delta H of a chemical reaction. For a combustion chemical reactions, this is the suitable. So what is this bomb calorimeter, how it was functioning, we can see. Bomb calorimeter, it is a very simple, it is very easy, students. Just you should be familiar with the diagram what he was given. In the diagram, what are the equipment is present. So what is the name of that equipment? Once you familiar with the diagram of this bomb calorimeter, you can easily write the experiment. Okay, so how it was there, what are the parts including in the bomb calorimeter, we can see detailedly. Bomb calorimeter. In bomb calorimeter, this is called a bomb. Generally, this bomb is made with a stainless steel vessel. It is made with a stainless steel. Here in this dark color coated is a stainless steel vessel. It is known as a bomb. So it is used in this experiment. That's why it is called as a bomb calorimeter. The vessel which is used for this process is known as a bomb. Generally it is made up of with stainless steel. So this stainless steel vessel is used for this experiment. So this stainless steel vessel is known as a bomb, hence it is known as a bomb calorimeter. In this stainless steel vessel we can kept a platinum made vessel. Here it is made up of with platinum. So in this platinum vessel, what are the substance, for which substance we can calculate the change in internal energy, that equals to delta E, and change in enthalpy delta H. For which substance we want to calculate, that substance we taken in this platinum vessel. In this diagram we show like this. So in this platinum vessel we take the sample which is our under experiment. In this platinum vessel we put our sample, and this stainless steel bomb is fitted tightly with a screw. This is very strongly we can fit it with this bomb with a screw. And after that, inside of this platinum vessel there is a connection with positive and negative end, positive end, which is connected to the battery, and this battery wires are connected to this platinum vessel. In this we kept our required sample, and there is a arrangement is there inside the vessel, that is oxygen passage adjustment is there inside the bomb. So because in presence of oxygen only our substance will be combustion or burn. That's why there is a possibility we can supply oxygen inside the bomb calorimeter, inside the bomb. So after passing oxygen we can tightly cap the bomb inside the sample is present, and this bomb is placed in a fixed volume of a insulated container. So this is an insulated container. Means, we know students, insulated means neither energy nor matter. So exchanged between system and surroundings. Between system and surroundings, energy is not exchanged, as well as matter also not exchangeable. So neither energy nor matter exchanged with the surroundings. So those are known as insulated vessels. In that insulated vessel, we can take a known volume of water. So this is a known volume of water is taken in a insulated vessel. In this insulated vessel containing water, we placed our stainless steel bomb containing the sample. And outside of the bomb calorimeter vessel, one side you can place a thermometer to measure the temperature inside the water. So to measure the temperature of water we can use a thermometer, and other side of the bomb calorimeter we can place a stirrer, a mechanical stirrer type is there. A stirrer we can place it. So this stirrer, in the bottom of the stirrer there will be a fans are there. These are like these blades are there. So these blades can act as a to rotate the water. So it behaves as a fan in our home. So it rotates the water, circulates the water entire the vessel. So that water is circulated to maintain. This is because why we placed this stirrer here, to maintain the uniform temperature in the water. So to maintain uniform temperature, in water we used this stirrer. So the bottom of this stirrer contains blades. These blades rotate or circulate the water inside the insulated vessel, and because to maintain the uniform temperature inside the insulated vessel. Before starting the experiment, we can record the temperature. Before starting the experiment, we can record the temperature with the help of thermometer. That is recorded as a T1 degrees centigrade. So before experiment we can record the temperature as T1 degree centigrade. So after that we can start the experiment by supplying power, and with the help of this positive and negative connection to the platinum wire, and we can combust the substance present in the platinum vessel, or you can burn the substance which is present in the platinum vessel. So during burning of the substance there is a evolution of heat takes place. Due to combustion of the chemical substance, heat is evolved inside the stainless steel vessel, inside the bomb. This is our stainless steel bomb. It is called as a bomb. So inside of this stainless steel vessel, this bomb, temperature is increased because of combustion of the chemical substance. Here our chemical substance is combusted. So because of combustion of chemical substance, heat is evolved inside the bomb. That evolved heat raises the temperature of the walls of the bomb. So along with the walls of the bomb, slowly the temperature of the water also increased. Because we know, students, temperature of the water also increased. Temperature of water increased. Students, we know heat always travel from high temperature to low temperature. So during burning of combustion of chemical substance, the heat is evolved inside the bomb. With this heat, the walls of the bomb is heated, and again the heat is transferred to the solution water around the bomb. So the temperature of the water also increased. To maintain the uniform temperature in the water around the bomb with the help of stirrer. So to maintain uniform temperature, with the help of this stirrer we can maintain uniform temperature, and we record the temperature with the help of a thermometer. That recorded temperature after the experiment is noted as a T2 degree centigrade. So initially before experiment is T1 degree centigrade. So after combustion of the chemical substance, the temperature or the heat evolved in the course of reaction is measured with the help of thermometer, and that is recorded as a T2 degree centigrade. So students, we know T1 degree centigrade and T2 degree centigrade. With the help of these T1 and T2, we can calculate the change in temperature. That equals to delta T equals to T2 minus T1. So T2 minus T1, with the help of T2 minus T1 we can measure with the help of bomb calorimeter change in temperature delta T. That equals to T2 minus T1. With this change in temperature, we can calculate easily delta E, change in internal energy. After recording this change in internal energy delta E, we can also calculate delta H. In the module 3 video, we determined delta H is equals to delta E plus P delta V. And with that formula, we can rearrange in the formula and we can easily calculate delta H. So with the help of bomb calorimeter, how we calculate delta E and delta H, we can see in the coming slide. Okay, see students, here we use this formula delta E is equals to minus Z into delta T into M by W. So what are these terms we can see. With the help of this formula, by using bomb calorimeter, we can calculate delta E, change in internal energy. So here delta E equals to minus Z into delta T into M by W. Already I explained you how to calculate the delta T. With the help of bomb calorimeter, we calculate the delta T. That is nothing but rise in temperature. That is coming from the formula T2 minus T1. So T1 is the temperature before experiment, T2 is the temperature after the experiment in the thermometer. With that we can calculate delta T. And Z is the heat capacity of calorimeter system. So here calorimeter system means we are taking a water inside an insulated vessel. So it is a fixed value. How much volume of water we are taking in the vessel, inside the insulated vessel. So the combination of that insulated vessel and water is known as a calorimeter system. Its heat capacity Z is already known heat capacity value you can take. Dear students, what is this heat capacity? We can see in the next module video. Just here you can remember that Z value, heat capacity of a calorimeter system value is a fixed experimental value. It is a standard value. So with that help of standard value and the change in temperature, here M is the molecular weight of the substance. So in the platinum vessel inside the bomb we are taking the chemical, that chemical molecular weight of the chemical substance, is our capital M, and W is the how much quantity of the substance is taken in a platinum vessel. So weight of the chemical substance we are taking in the platinum vessel we are taking. So we know Z value, delta T value, and M molecular weight of the chemical substance and weight of the substance we are taking. By substituting these values in this formula, we can easily calculate the change in internal energy, delta E. So this change in internal energy, delta E, we can calculate it with the help of bomb calorimeter experiment. After that, when we know the delta T, in the module 3 video, we already know the formula change in enthalpy. Delta H is equals to delta E plus P delta V. In the previous module, we see delta H is equals to change in internal energy. That equals to delta E plus P into delta V, means P into change in volume. So with the help of this formula, here P into change in volume is nothing but delta nRT, which is coming from the ideal gas equation. Students, we know the equation PV equals to nRT. So by the application of this formula, here P into change in volume, this is nothing but P delta V. So this on simplification we are getting a new formula, delta H is equals to delta E plus delta nRT. Here change in internal energy delta E and P delta V becomes delta nRT. So in another video, how PV is converted into delta P into delta V, how converted to delta nRT, we can see in another module video. So just here you can remember delta H is equals to delta E plus delta nRT, and delta N is coming from the change in number of gas molecules in the combustion reaction. Okay, so by knowing the delta N value, it is a universal gas constant and temperature, then you can easily calculate the delta H, change in enthalpy. So students, this is very easiest and simple experiment. With the help of this bomb calorimeter experiment, we can calculate for a chemical substance what is its change in internal energy, delta E, and what is its change in enthalpy, delta H. Students, I already told you, internal energy is a state function, so its absolute value cannot be calculated. Enthalpy is a state function, its absolute value we cannot be calculated. That's why we calculate change in internal energy, delta E, change in enthalpy, delta H. Okay, so in this manner, with the help of bomb calorimeter, we can calculate delta E and delta H. Dear student, here I used another image for explaining or easily understood the bomb calorimeter. In this bomb calorimeter, this is your insulated vessel. So in this insulated vessel, neither heat nor energy is exchanged with the surrounding. This is your insulated vessel. Insulated vessel. And this is your stainless steel bomb. This is your stainless steel bomb. Stainless steel bomb. So in this stainless steel bomb, there is a platinum vessel. So in this platinum vessel, this is your platinum vessel. In this vessel, we put your sample here, and this platinum vessel is connected to a battery. One end is positive and the other side of this is a negative end. These two are connected to a battery. From this battery, energy is coming, and with this help we can burn or combust our chemical substance. And this bomb is placed in a insulated vessel containing known volume of water. This blue color represents the water, and in this water, one side we put a thermometer, and this is a digital thermometer. So what is the temperature inside the water we can observe in this here in this display. So this is a digital thermometer, and other side we can put a stirrer. So this, with the help of this stirrer, we can maintain the temperature uniformly throughout the water. So this is very clearly represents. So after supplying power, the chemical substance is burning. So the burned, before experiment we can record the temperature with the help of thermometer, that is T1 degree centigrade. And after the burning of substance, heat is evolved inside the stainless steel vessel. So due to that evolved heat, the vessel becomes hot, and from that the temperature is transferred from high temperature to low temperature. Though the water present around the bomb also heated, the temperature of the water is also increased. The increased or raised temperature is recorded with the help of thermometer, and that is recorded as a T2 degree centigrade. So with the help of T2 and T1, therefore we can calculate with these two delta T, and that value you can substitute in the formula. Delta E is equals to minus Z into delta T into M by W. So this is very easiest experiment. Students, you can remember just a picture of the bomb calorimeter, then you can write in your own words. So in a stainless steel vessel is there. Inside the stainless steel vessel we can put a platinum crucible. Sometimes it is known as a crucible. Students, it is also known as a crucible. Okay, this platinum crucible. Okay, students. So inside this crucible we can put our chemical substance, and it is connected with the battery. So outside we have a arrangement. The one side is thermometer, other side is the stirrer is there. By supplying power supply, the substance is combusted, and the change in temperature we can record it in a digital thermometer. With the help of the above formula, we can easily calculate change in delta E. After knowing the change in delta E, or nothing but change in internal energy, that equals to delta E, we can calculate change in enthalpy, that is delta H. Okay, see students, this is the original picture of stainless steel bomb. Original picture of stainless steel bomb. Students, see, like this manner, it is your bomb. This is called as a bomb. This is known as a bomb. That is nothing but a reaction vessel. So it is made up of stainless steel. Stainless steel vessel. This is your stainless steel vessel. Stainless steel vessel. So this is your bomb. Inside this vessel we can put our sample. So this is the real image of the bomb. Stainless steel vessel. See, these are the crucible. So here I show you which are made up of a stainless steel vessels. In our experiment explanation we are using platinum vessels. Generally, why we are preferred platinum vessels for a chemical reaction? Because this platinum metal is chemically inert nature. So because of chemical inert nature, when we put any chemical substance inside the platinum vessel, it does not react with that chemical during combustion. But if you use other metals instead of platinum, there is a possibility of the chemical during combustion, it may react with that metal. So to avoid that side reaction, we can use platinum vessel. So students, platinum crucible, nothing but a platinum crucible. Students, sometimes people are also using a quartz crucibles, quartz, so which is made up of quartz. So quartz crucibles are used. Quartz crucibles are also used. Quartz crucibles, so which are made up of with quartz. Here I show you picture of crucibles which are made up of a stainless steel. So inside this vessel we can put our chemical substance, and we can, after combustion, during combustion heat is evolved from the chemical substance. So these are the images of crucibles. And see, this is the picture inside the stainless steel bomb calorimeter. See how beautifully it is looking. So this is our stainless steel bomb. Inside our crucible is there. Inside the crucible we can put our chemical substance. So this is connected with the positive and negative end. Here it is a oxygen supplier. From this, along with this, we can supply O2, oxygen, and this is our positive and negative anode, and so it is connected to battery. So this is the real picture or imaginary picture of the bomb calorimeter. Inside how it is looks to be, here I clearly shows this picture. So this is the bomb calorimeter, students, experiment. It is very easy. With this bomb calorimeter experiment we can calculate change in internal energy and change in enthalpy. Enthalpy of formation. Enthalpy of formation. So students, you can just learn the definition of enthalpy of formation. So what is this enthalpy of formation? The heat change which occurs when 1 mole of the substance is formed under standard conditions from its constituent elements in their standard states is known as a enthalpy of formation. So it is also denoted with a delta H. So in the enthalpy of formation we see, so here by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen gas we are getting water molecule. So 1 mole of water molecule, here we are getting 1 mole. 1 mole of water molecule is formed. So that is only now our definition. So 1 mole water molecule is formed. 1 mole of water molecule is formed under standard from its constituent elements. So this water molecule formula we know H2O. So the constituent elements in H2O is hydrogen and oxygen. So the combination of this hydrogen and oxygen forms 1 mole of water. So students, here you can see the example is writing a stoichiometrically balanced equation. So in this equation 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. So for 1 oxygen atom we are taking half O2 molecule. Half O2 molecule means 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogen atoms combined to form 1 mole H2O. So the heat change occurs by the formation of 1 mole of substance from its constituent elements is known as a enthalpy of formation. Here enthalpy of formation for a water molecule from hydrogen and oxygen is 285.83 kilojoules per mole. Kilojoules per mole are the units. Next example we can see one more example, HCl formation. H2 hydrogen gas, Cl2 gas combined to form 2 moles of HCl. For 2 moles of HCl we are getting minus 92.3 kilojoules per mole. But for 1 mole case how much? So 92.3 by 2, because this is for 2 moles. But for 1 mole of 1 mole formation substance, therefore this is becomes 92.3 by 2 kilojoules per mole is the delta H formation of a HCl gas. Here 2 chlorine atoms coming from Cl2, 2 hydrogen atoms coming from hydrogen H2 gas. And one more example you can see, students, the formation of methane. So here 1 mole of methane, CH4, CH4, nothing but this is your methane. The formula of methane is CH4. CH4 is formed by the 1 carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atoms combined to form a CH4 methane molecule. 1 mole of methane is formed. So this much of heat change. This is your enthalpy of formation. This is your enthalpy of formation for a methane molecule, minus 74.8 kilojoules per mole. So students, in examination the question may ask like this: write the definition of enthalpy of formation with examples. So write what is enthalpy of formation, write examples. In this manner the examiner may ask a question. Students, we can see next topic is enthalpy of bond dissociation. So similar to enthalpy of formation, here it is also one more thing, enthalpy of bond dissociation. So what is enthalpy of bond dissociation? We can see the amount of energy required breaking 1 mole of bonds of a particular type in a molecule in the gaseous state. See students, the molecule should be in gaseous state. 1 mole of bonds, the energy required to break 1 mole of bonds of a particular type in a gaseous state is known as a enthalpy of bond dissociation. So like enthalpy of formation, the units for enthalpy of bond dissociation also kilojoules per mole. Kilojoules per mole is the units of enthalpy of bond dissociation. So this enthalpy of bond dissociation we can explain with one example. For example, in case of monoatomic molecule, here for example for monoatomic molecule you can take here one example, hydrogen H2. So here 2 hydrogen atom H2 molecule. This H2 molecule, there is a sigma bond between 2 hydrogen atoms. Hydrogen, single bond hydrogen. So the energy required to break this sigma bond between the 2 hydrogens. So the amount of energy required breaking 1 mole of, here 1 mole hydrogen of bonds is of a molecule in gaseous state. Here our hydrogen H2 is in gaseous state and it forms hydrogen atoms. So like this is the enthalpy of bond dissociation. Therefore the amount of energy required to break 1 mole of bonds of a particular type in a molecule which is in gaseous state is known as a enthalpy of bond dissociation. Students, in case of monoatomic molecule case, in this manner we can take. But what we can do in case of polyatomic molecule, we can see with example. In case of polyatomic molecule, the enthalpy of bond dissociation we can calculate like in this manner. For this polyatomic case, we can take one example, CH4. In the previous slide, I already told you, students, CH4 is the molecular formula of methane, CH4. So in the methane molecule, 1 carbon atom is attached to 4 hydrogen atoms. So each step, in the first step, CH4, 1 hydrogen atom, the energy required to break 1 hydrogen atom from methane molecule. So after breaking the bond, we are getting CH3 and 1 nascent hydrogen. So here the heat energy is 427 kilojoules per mole. And from CH3, if you remove 1 more hydrogen, we are getting CH2 and 1 more nascent hydrogen. Here the delta H naught or enthalpy of bond dissociation is 418.4 kilojoules. Next, CH2, from CH2 we are removing 1 more hydrogen, we are getting CH plus 1 nascent hydrogen. And from that CH2, 1 more hydrogen is there, we can remove that hydrogen, we are getting carbon and a nascent hydrogen. So this is the enthalpy of bond dissociation. So in case of polyatomic molecules, so why it I called as a polyatomic molecule? In this molecule, see here only hydrogen atom is present. That's why I called this as a monoatomic. But here one carbon atom, 4 hydrogen atoms are present. So different atoms and more number of atoms are present. That's why I called it as a polyatomic molecule. So in case of polyatomic molecule, each step has a bond dissociation energy. So in this case, what we do, so the average of all these elementary steps we are taking. So in this molecule, in this example, for methane molecule, these 4 average of these 4 steps we are taken as a bond dissociation energy. Average of these 4 steps, these 4 bond dissociations is taken as a enthalpy of bond dissociation for a methane molecule. So total 4 are there, divided sum of these by 4, we are getting 412.2 kilojoules as a enthalpy of bond dissociation for a methane molecule. So students, we can calculate for a polyatomic molecules enthalpy of bond dissociation in this manner. So this is also like a enthalpy of formation. Enthalpy of bond dissociation is also asked in examination. What is enthalpy of bond dissociation? Explain with examples. In this manner, the examiner may ask a question. Dear students, I hope you enjoyed this session. So in this module, we discussed about the measurement of delta E and delta H with the help of bomb calorimeter. Along with that, we also discussed what is enthalpy of formation and enthalpy of bond dissociation. Dear students, if these videos are very useful to you and if you like these videos, please share to your friends, classmates and other friends outside the institute. Thank you very much.